Hello, this is an environmental management plan for the Kohler Golf Course on Lake Michigan. Proposal is by Christoph Foreman on March 14th, 2018 for American Public University, the environmental management class. The Kohler Company proposal is to build a new championship level public golf course on the shores of Lake Michigan. Their hope is that it will be worthy of having major championships, kind of like their Whistling Straits golf course, which is not too far down the road. The objective of this plan is to use adaptive management practices to maximize the benefits for all stakeholders. And it is truly the belief that through the use of adaptive management, all stakeholders can benefit and the harm to the natural environment can be limited. The location of the project is just south of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Here you see Sheboygan up here. Moving south, you eventually get to the Kohler Andre State Park. The project will be just adjacent to the northern part of the park, but they will actually need an easement to use part of the state park. If we come over here, we can see this a little bit more clearly in the satellite image. So you can see here is the state park, and then here is the piece of land that Kohler currently owns. So going back thousands of years, the area was shaped by glaciers and geologic forces. This piece of land has been underwater until recently when we think in terms of geologic timescales. And the Native Americans have been known to be habitating this area for thousands of years prior to 1833. As of 1833, this land was ceded by the Indians to the government. And then from 1833 to 1927, the land was actually sold at the cost of $1 an acre to people who chose to purchase it. Parts of this land were purchased by both the Kohler and Andre families who owned the land until eventually they donated it to the state over the course of tens of years from 1927 going forward by both of the families in memorial to elder people in their family. That land was donated to be used for the Kohler Andre State Park. Currently, the site is held up in hearings having to do with this project. The soils in the area are predominantly sand and muck soils. Along the Black River and riparian wetlands, the soils are a combination of three different mucks. Dunes line the immediate shoreline of Lake Michigan. The rest of the property is either Oakville loam fine sand or Granby loamy fine sand. The soil composition is a large area of concern for this type of project. Due to the fact that they want to build a golf course, one of the main concerns is how they're going to care for the soil and get it to grow the grass in a sustainable way. The vegetation in the area is known to have more than 400 plant species. Of those species, there are at least 50 different tree species. There are dune plants that are found only in the Kohler Dunes natural area, several species that are invasive to the area, and it basically houses impressive biodiversity. Because of the diversity of types of habitat that you can see over here in the pictures, everything from the dunes to the forest and some wetlands and grasses, it really is a wonderful habitat that is very important for the creatures of the area. The wildlife in the area is very diverse as well. There's salmon and otters and other aquatic species that live on and around the water. There's 150 bird species at least, with many different migratory birds, including a few, the loons, the gulls, the terns, raptors, and others. Snapping turtles, garter snakes, white-tailed deer, multiple species of salamanders, wood frogs, spring peepers, 3 different federally endangered and 1 federally protected species all inhabit this area. Of the major policy concerns, there are major concerns for endangered bird habitat. This is really going to be a prime area of focus for this project. As well will be the destruction and possible relocation of wetlands. One of the most recent proposals by the Kohler company was to, in fact, move some of the wetlands and dunes and create habitat in other areas. Some locals have voiced concern over the local economic impact. And very recently, policy concerns over granting easement in the Kohler-Andre State Park has been raised due to the fact that that might set a precedent for using state parks for private land desires. Traffic concerns have been raised by people in the town of Wilson, and there are major water usage concerns because of the amount of water that the golf course will need. And currently, 2 towns, the city of Sheboygan and the town of Wilson, are battling over whose water would be used for the project. And then, as with many, many golf courses, one of the areas of large concern is nutrient and pesticide runoff as they treat the golf course and try to keep it in pristine condition. And here is the references page.